My name is Gianluca Veronesi. I'm a first-year PhD student at Leeds University Business School, and I work in CASIF, which is the department it is the Center for Advanced Study in Finance. My research is about corporate governance, and specifically I'm looking at the position of the chairman inside companies, in particular in public companies. If I had to summarize my research so far, I found out that there's a misconception in the corporate governance literature in the sense that the role of the chair is perceived as staying stable during the life of a company, whereas as many other academics and many other studies have demonstrated, organization develop during their life. We use the term life to describe organization, even they are not human being. So what I found is that there's a misconception about the role of the chair in terms of being the same role and the same task over the time of the company life, whereas there is obvious a change in terms of what the chair is supposed to do inside the company and what the company is expecting from the chair during the life and the evolution of the company, from the startup stage up to the decline stage. So that's the main finding of my research. If I had to make a recommendation for organization, I would say that the role of the chairman is particularly complex inside companies, because obviously it is at the top of the organization, and chairmen are expected to be effective leader inside organization. But for the problem that we have said that organization changes during their life and the chairman is expected to perform different roles and different tasks, I would say that the chairman should be expected to be the lone leader of an organization, but he should be surrounded by an effective group of people, namely the board of directors. And so the board of directors should be chosen carefully in order to complement and aid the chair in developing his role and developing his tasks during the life of an organization. So what is really important for organization is to try to find the right people for the right job, in terms of finding the directors that have the right skills and attributes to complement the function of the chair during life of the organization. If someone was going to use the conclusion I've come so far and the result of my early research stage, I would say that chairman in particular needs to be able to open up their mind and try to understand what their directors are telling to them, because from the conversation that I have so far with quite a few chairmen, I had the impression that they are not really thinking of listening to other people. They think they are the right person for the job and they can do the job better than others, and they're not willing to listen to advice. Whereas my research, which is centered on the idea of a collective leadership inside the board and inside companies, would help this chairman to understand what other people are trying to tell them and to be open to their advice and to listen to what other people, which at the end of the day, they are experts like them in the company or in the market or in the sector where the company is operating, and trying to listen what other people are saying and make stock of what other people are saying and trying to improve their performance in order to help the company to progress. Because if I had to advise chairmen to how to improve their performance, if there is a need, because sometimes there's not a need, that they're doing a great job, I would say that they need to perform a thorough analysis of what is the board of directors doing and how single member of the board are giving to the board and what are their skills. And so what they really need to do is just trying to analyze what the board is supposed to do in that company, in that organization, and trying to understand if the board is giving to the organization what it's supposed to give. Because at the end of the day, the work of the performance of the board depends on the people who are sitting on the board. And if the performance are not good enough, and there are some measure to use to measure the performance of the board, they need to find a way to understand how this performance can be improved, and they can be improved only by acting on the people who are sitting on the board. My research has entailed so far, first of all, I built a theoretical model in order to understand what is the behavior that the chairman needs to take during the life of an organization. Afterwards, I presented this theoretical model on two conferences. One was the conference organized by the NLA, which was really useful because I received a lot of feedback on some part of my theoretical model, and I've taken stock of this feedback and changed something in the model. And also I presented my paper to another conference down in London, which also has been really useful in terms of receiving feedback from academics and fellow researchers. Then, thanks to the help of my supervisor, I had 5 informal conversations which lasted more or less 1 hour with existing chairmen, and I've asked them if they think that my model could be helpful for their work and what I should have changed in my model in order to be more helpful for future interviews. So I'm now preparing an updated version of my theoretical model in order to start really to collecting the data on the field, and I have planned already 20 interviews in the following 2 months with chairmen in the north of England, ranging from the health sector to finance sector. So I'm trying to understand with this chairman what the consequences of my model applied to an organization would be. And basically I'm at the beginning of the collection of the data, but I've already had the chance to have feedback on my thoughts and how to reorganize my thoughts during the process. Now, what I want from my research is to people try to understand that they can't be the one-man band company. If you run a big company, you need to be able to understand what people are telling you. You can't think that the company is leaving and is performing just because you are there. You need to understand that there are other people inside the company, and if you believe that these people can be helpful for you, and you should be able to understand what they are trying to tell you, and these people are there to help you, and you need to use the skills of the people, especially if you work in the board. You need to try to understand what the people are telling you and the skills that are there, because everyone knows that if a task is performed by many people and these people are working together really well, the task can be performed in a specifically better way than if you were on your own. So.